Hi my friends, welcome to my channel Venus Edutech. In this video, first I am giving you the solutions of those workout questions given in the last video and then explaining the fifth type of coding and decoding. So let's start. So this is the first workout question that I have given to you, and see, in these first two lines we can see same word growth. Okay, so we can find out the code for growth from the first and the second line. So in the first and second line, look the codes CNFAMSTE GITE KUHO. Here TE and TE, it is common, so that means the code for growth is TE. Okay, so we can write the code for growth, it is TE. So growth we can cut. Then other three words, economic slows down. Economic, it is in the first and the third line. Okay, so we can cut economic here and here. Okay, the code for economic is, we can find out from the first and the third line. Okay, CNFAMS MS. Okay, BPHOJE, MS and MS is common, so the code for economic is MS. Understood? Next is slows and down. Down is there in the first line and fourth line, so cut down. So we can find the code for down from the first and the fourth line. MS and TE we have already taken. Then the remaining two codes are CN, FA. And in the fourth line, KX, CN. So CN is common here and here. So obviously the code for down, it is CN. Understood? Then the remaining word in the first line is slows. So the code for slows will be which one? FA is remaining, so it is FA. The code for slows is FA. Now going to the second line, of developing country. We already got the code for growth. So from of developing country, developing is there in the second line and third line. So we can cut developing and find the code corresponding to developing. Okay. So looking the code in the second and the third line, is there any code common? GIKUHO, TE we have already taken. So GIKUHO, BPHOJE. So HO is common. That means the code for developing, it is HO. Okay. Next it is of and country. Okay. The remaining two words remaining is of and country. So there are no words in any of the remaining lines of and country. So we can write the code for of and country as, the remaining codes in the second line are GI and KU. So either GI or KU is the code for of, either GI or KU is the code for country. Understood? Now going to the third line, developing we already got the code HO, economic we already got the code MS. Then the remaining two words are conditions and agenda. Conditions is there in the third line and fourth line also. So we can write conditions. So we can find out the code for conditions from the third and the fourth line. So in the third line, the remaining codes are BP and JE. So in the fourth line, KX, DR, BP. So BP is common here and here. That means the code for conditions, it is BP. Okay. Now going to the fourth line. Sorry, agenda is remaining in the third line. Okay. So the code for agenda is, the remaining code in the third line is JE. So the code for agenda is JE. Coming to the fourth line, two words are remaining, like and trend. Like and trend. So two codes will also be remaining in the fourth line. Which are the codes? Which are the two codes? KX and DR. Okay. So that means the code for like is either KX or DR, and the code for trends is either KX or DR. Now going to the 5 questions. If slows developing risk is coded as HOFAZY. Okay. Slows, we know we get the code as FA, right? So slows means FA. Developing, we got the code HO. So FA, HO. Risk means ZY. There is no word in the given question of risk. There is no word risk. There is no word called risk in the given question. That means in the given sub question, the risk is written as ZY. Okay. Then the question is, how will economic risk down? We got the code for risk from this question is ZY, then how we will code economic risk down? So we have to find the code economic and down. Economic we have MS and down we have CN. So the answer is MS CN ZY. Okay. Now the second sub question is, what is the code for conditions of country in the given code language? The code for conditions is BP, right? So conditions means BP. Okay. Of means the code for of it is either GI or KU. Okay. So either GI or KU, and country means either GI or KU. So the answer would be BP, GI, KU, because of and country the code is same, either GI or KU, and conditions we got the code as BP. Okay. Now going to the third sub question, which one represents the code growth improve in the given code language? Growth and improve. We know the code for growth, that is TE. Okay. And in the given question there is no word called improve, right? There is no word called improve in this given question. So there will be an option. So the answer is that option having a code from outside which is not written in the given question. Okay. Now going to the fourth sub question, what does the code KX stand for? KX means either like or trends. So the answer is either like or trends. Understood? Now the fifth sub question is, what is the code for agenda? Agenda, the code is JE. So the answer is JE. Okay. This is the second workout question. So look for the words must and change. It is there in the first and the second line. Must is there in the first and the second line. Change is also there in the first and the second line. So there will be two codes similar in these two lines. Look that KILABXTU, KIGMTUDRLA. So TU is there in the first and the second line. LA is also there in the first and the second line. That means the code for must is either LA or TU. And the code for change is also either LA or TU. Understood? So must and change, we can cut it. The remaining two words in the first line is adapt and. Adapt is there in the first and the third line. Okay. So the code for adapt will be in the first and the third line. Look for the code similar in the first and the third line. KI, LA and TU we have already taken. So KI, BX. Here FN, BX. BX and BX. So BX is there in the first line. BX is there in the third line. That means the code for adapt is BX. And the remaining word in the first line is and. So the remaining code in the first line will be KI. So the code for and is KI. Understood? Now going to the second line. Change and must. We already got the code. Now A and here. Okay. A and here. Here is there in the second line. In the third line also. Okay. So the code for here is will be in the second and the third line. Okay. GM, TR. TU and LA we have already taken. So in the second line we have the codes GM, DR. Here in the third line FN, MS, DR. So DR is there in the second and the third line. That means, sorry, DR. That means the code for here is DR. Now the remaining word in the second line is A, and the code for A will be GM, TU, DR, LA. T, not TU, not LA, not DR, but GM. So the code for A is GM. Understood? Now going to the third line, two words remaining, to and better, right? So better is there in the third line and fourth line. Okay. So the code for better will be in the third and the fourth line. Look for that word similar in the third and the fourth line. FN, BX, MS, DR, CX, QA, FN. That means the code for better is FN because FN is there in the third and the fourth line. Now the remaining word in the third line is to, right? So the code for to is, the remaining code in the third line is MS. So the code for 2 is MS. Okay. Now going to the fourth line, we have three words. Little than nothing. Little than nothing. Okay. So there will be 3 chords in the fourth line, CX, QA and RM. We got the FN, the word for FN, it is better. So the remaining 3 chords are CX, QA, RM. That means the chord for little is either CX or QA or RM. The chord for than is also either CX or QA or RM. The chord for nothing is either CX or QA or RM. Understood? Now we can go to the 5 sub questions. First is the what is the chord for little in the given chord language? Little means either CX or QA or RM. So the answer is either CX or QA or RM. Okay. Now the second question is what does GM stand for? GM stands for A. Okay. So the answer is A. Now the third sub question is if must bring change is written as OPLATU. Okay, must bring change. We have the codes for must and change, right? LA or TU. So LA, TU and bring, we do not have any code here, right? So they have given the code as TU. Sorry, not TU, OP for bring. Understood? We do not have any word and code for bring. So that is from outside. So they also given the code for bring as OP. Okay. Now the question is then how will bring peace here be possibly coded in the given code language? Bring, we already got the code as OP. Okay. Now we have to find the code for peace and here. Okay. We know the code for here. What is it? Is DR. Okay. So write OP, DR, and the code for peace is not given here. There is no word called peace, right? So the answer is that option which is having the code for peace from outside. Okay. That code which is not written here. Okay. So the answer is OP, DR and the code from outside. There is an option. Surely there will be an option in which the code for peace is from outside. It is not given in the question. Okay. Now fourth sub question is code for which of the following cannot be definitely known. We know the code for than and adapt here too. Okay, we know definitely the code for adapt, right? It is only one code, that is BX. So it is not adapt, because we definitely know the code for adapt. So the answer is not adapt. Then do we know the exact code for here? Yeah, it is DR. So it is also not the answer. Then do we know exactly the code for 2? Yes, it is MS. So it is also not the answer. Then than and adapt. Sorry, than and. Do you know the code, the exact code for and? Yes, it is KI. So it's also not the answer. But what is the code for than? It is either CX or QA or RM. We do not know the exact code for than. Either it is CX or QA or RM. We do not know the exact answer. So than is the code which cannot be definitely known from the given question. Okay. Now the fifth sub question is which of the following may represent better and improved in the given code language? Better and improved. We know the code for better, it is FN. We know the code for and, it is KI. So FN, KI, and improved, there is no word called improved written here. So definitely the two codes will be F and KI. So look for that option, FN and KI. It is not in the first option. It is not in the second option. It is in the third option. FN and KI, it is in the third option, fourth option and fifth option. Now we have to find the code from outside for improved. Okay, so look, the third option, YZ. Is there any code called YZ written here? No. So we can select the third answer. Now in the fourth answer, what is the problem is that we know FN and KI. See, look for code GM. Yeah, it is the code for A, not for improved. Okay, now going to the last option, KIFN, and it is DR. We know the word for DR, it is here. So it is also not the code for improved. So the external code, it is YZ, because it is not written here. So the answer for better and improved is YZ, KI and FN. Understood? Now the last workout question is this one. So we can find out the code for gloves. Okay, so gloves is written in the first line and also in the second line. Okay, so gloves, GLOVES, gloves. So there will be a code similar in the first and the second line. Look, VG XA ZD ZO SH YC TI XA. XA is there in the second line and in the first line. That means the code for gloves is XA. Okay, now R is there in the first line and in the fourth line. Okay, so there will be a code similar in the first and the fourth line. Okay, so check it out, first and the fourth line. Okay, BG ZD CO OM CO NUQK. That means CO is there in the first line and CO is there in the fourth line as well. So the code for R is CO. Okay, now the remaining two words in the first line are found and there. Found is written in the first line and in the third line also. Found. So the code for found can be find out from the first and the third line. VG ZD VG. Yeah, VG is there in the first line and in the third line also. That means the code for found is VG. Now the remaining word in the first line is there. So the remaining code in the first line is ZD. That means the code for there is ZD. Okay. Now going to the second line, two pairs of. Two is written in the second line and it is also written in the third line. So the code for two is, two can be find out from the first and the second and the third line. SHYCTI WDNUSH. SH is there in the second line and in the third line. That means the code for two is SH. Now the remaining two words are pairs and of. Okay, so in the third and the fourth line there are no words called pairs and of. So the codes will be, the code for pairs is either YC or TI. Similarly the code for of is either YC or TI. Understood? Now going to the third line, new and friends are remaining. Okay, new is written in the third line and in the fourth line. So the code for new can be found out from the third and the fourth line. Okay, WDNU OM NUQK. NU is there in the third line and in the fourth line. That means the code for new is NU. The remaining word in the third line is friends, right? So the code for friends is WD. WD is the only code remaining in the third line. Okay, understood? Now going to the fourth line, all and packets are remaining. Okay, so the two codes remaining in the fourth line will be OM and QK. So that means the code for all is either OM or QK. The code for packets is also either OM or QK. Understood? Now going to the questions. What does the code TI stand for in the given code language? TI means either pairs or of. Okay, so we can write the code for TI is either, not code, word. The word corresponding to the code TI is either pairs or of. Okay. Now going to the second sub question. What will be the code for found in the given code language? The code for the word found is VG. So the answer is VG. Understood? Going to the third question. What is the code for R in the given code language? For R, the given code is CO. So the answer is CO. Going to the fourth sub question. What will be the possible code for new writer gloves? New writer gloves. We know the code for new and gloves. What are they? NU and XA. NU and XA are the codes for new and gloves. Writer, there is no code written here. There is no word called writer here. So there will not be any code for writer here. So we have to find out that option having code from outside. Okay. Now going to the fifth sub question. In the given code language, if blue is coded as AF, then how will all blue packets be coded as? We know the code for blue, it is written as AF. Then the remaining words are all and packets. We know the code for all and packets, either OM or QK. So the answer is OM, AF, QK or QK, AF, OM, which can be written like any of this. You have to select options. You have to select the right option. Or we can write OM, QK, AF. Anyway, the three codes would be OM, QK and AF. Okay, understood? I hope you clearly understood this type of coding and decoding. Practice more questions from this type of coding and decoding because it's a sure question from this pattern. And now going to the fifth type of coding and decoding. Now going to the fifth type of coding and decoding. This is similar to that of the fourth type of coding and decoding, but the difference is that in the fourth type of coding and decoding, the two-letter codes are given. That means in the form of letters, the codes are given. And in this type of coding and decoding, the codes are given in terms of numbers. Okay. Now, we can start. Here in a certain code, 786 means study very hard, 958 means hard work pays, 645 means study and work. Okay, so we have to find out the corresponding numbers and corresponding words. Okay, so study is written in the first line and in the third line. So there is a code similar in the first line and the third line. Code means here number. Okay, so 786 is written here, 645 is written here. The number 6 is common in the first line and in the third line. That means the code for study is 6. Now very and hard. Hard is written in the first line and in the second line. So we can find out the code for hard. The corresponding number code for hard. So 786 it is written in the first line, 6 we have already taken. So 7 and 8. Here 958. That means 8 is written here also, here also. Okay, 8 and 8. So hard means 8. Now the remaining code for very in the first line will be 7. Understood? Similarly, in the second line, we got the code for number code for hard, and the remaining two words are work and pace. Work is written here and here. So the code for work will be in the second and the third line. 958 645. So 5 is here, 5 is here. That means the code for work is 5. And the remaining word in the second line is pace. So the remaining code in the second line will be 9. So the code for pace is 9. In the third line, we already got the code for study and work. So the remaining word is and. So the remaining code will be 4 in this line. So the code for and is 4. Understood? Now going to the questions. First question is, what is the code for very? The code for very, it is 7. So the answer is 7. Okay. Now the second question is, what is the code for hard and study? In the given code language, hard and study. Okay, hard is 8 and is 4, study is 6. So the answer is 864. Understood? Now going to the third question, if the code for salary is 3, the code for salary is given here 3, then what will be the code for salary pays hard? Salary we already got the code 3. Now we have to find out the corresponding number code for pays and hard. Pays we have 9, hard we have 8. So the answer is 398 or 839 or 389 like that. Okay, so the three numbers should be 3, 9 and 8. Okay, now the fourth question is, what is the code for work? The code for work is 5. Now, which of the following is the code for pace? The code for pace, the number code for pace is 9. So the option is second one. Answer is 9. Okay. Now going to the second question. In a certain code, 467 means leaves are green, 485 means green is good, 639 means they are paying. Okay. Okay. green is written in the first line and in the second line. So we can find out the corresponding number code for green from the first and the second line. 4, 6, 7, 4, 8, 5. That means 4 is common in the first line and in the second line. So the code for green is 4. Okay. Now leaves are. R is there in the first line and in the third line. So the code for R will be in the first and the third line. Okay. 4 is already taken. Then 6, 7, 6, 3, 9. So 6 is common in both the first and the third line. So the answer for the code for the corresponding number code for R is 6. And the remaining word in the first line is leaves. So the code for leaves is 7. Understood? Now going to the second line. Green already we got the code as 4. Then is and good. Okay. Is and good. There is no is and good in the third line. So the codes will be either 5 or 8. The code for good is also either 5 or 8. Okay. Now going to the third line, we already got the code for R. Now we have to find out the number code for they and paying. So they and paying are not written in any of the other two lines. So the code will be either 3 or 9. For both these words. So the code for they is either 3 or 9. The code for paying is also either 3 or 9. Now going to the questions. First question, what is the number code for leaves? What is the number code for leaves? It is 7. So the answer is 7. Okay. Now the second sub question is, what is the code for good? The code for good is either 5 or 8. Okay. So we can write either 5 or 8. Now the third question is, if the code for 1 is white, then what is the code which means white leaves are green? White leaves are green. White we already got the code 1. Then we have to find out the number codes for leaves are green. Leaves are green. 7, 6, 4. So the answer is 1764. Now the fourth question is, if 9 stands for paying, then which is the code number for they are paying? Paying we got the code 9. Okay. We have to find out the corresponding codes for they and R. They it is 3 or 9. R it is 6. So it can be written as 3, 6. Why? Because in the given question, it is given that the code for paying is 9. Okay. So the code for R will be, see in the given question they given that 9 stands for paying, then 3 will be they. Okay. So the answer is 3, 9 and 6. 6 means R. Okay. Now going to the fifth sub question, which is the word that indicates the code number 4? 4 means green. Understood? 4 means green. Now going to the workout questions. First one is, in a certain code, mangoes are good is written as 743. Eat good food is written as 657. Mangoes are ripe is written as 934. Then the questions are 5 sub questions. They are, which digit means ripe in that language? Second question is, what does 7 stands for? Third question is, if the code number for eat is 6, then which code number represents good food ripe? Then the fourth sub question is, what is the code for mangoes? And the fifth sub question is, which represents the code for 97? Certain code, spread red carpet can be written as 247. Dust one carpet can be written as 256. One red carpet can be written as 254. Then answer the following 5 sub questions. First one is, which digit in that code means dust? Second sub question is, which letter in that code represents 5? Third sub question, what will be the code for spread one red carpet? The fourth sub question is, what will be the code 627 stands for? And the fifth sub question is, what would be the code for red? In a certain code, you are good is written as 256. We are bad is written as 637. Good and bad is written as 358. Then we have to answer the following sub questions. First one is, what will be the code for and? Second sub question is, what will be the code 3, 5, 6 stands for. Third sub-question is the code 3 stands for which letter code? Fourth sub-question is if the code for girls is 9, then how will be the code girls are good be written? And fifth sub-question is the code number 7 stands for which letter code?